Hey, all you comic book readers and true believers, it's Tuesday, and I'm your friendly neighborhood comic book guy, Mitch Harmon. You guys know what's up, Mitch's Picks. For Marvel Comics, Star Wars, Age of Rebellion, Jabba the Hutt, One Shot, written by Greg Pak, art done by Emilio Liso, Roland Boschi, and Marco Turini. This falling in step with the rest of the Age of Rebellion stuff. It's just a one-shot featuring Jabba the Hutt. You really never really get a whole lot of info about Jabba the Hutt, but this kind of gives you a little bit, and this really doesn't reveal too much more. It just shows Jabba's ruthlessness, why he's considered one of the most dangerous gangsters in the galaxy. Kind of able to kind of pit people against each other without ever even having to leave his throne room. Jabba definitely shows how powerful he is, especially for on the planet of Tatooine. Not giving too much away on this one, but they're all just kind of standalone one-shots, but it just really does show you the length of Jabba's control, not only over Sand People and Jawas, but even over other smugglers and even the Empire to a certain degree. Written by Greg Pak, guy who did Planet Hulk. I will always mention that guy's name because it was one of my most absolute favorite Hulk stories. And the art's pretty good in this one too. Plus, if you're just a fan of the Star Wars universe, it's nice to get a little backstory of Jabba the Hutt. Check it out, guys. From IDW, Road of Bones, #1, written by Rich Doick, art done by Alex Cormack. The book set place in 1950s. Romanoff is kind of guilty of just telling a simple joke at a party about Stalin. Well, back in the 1950s, that was enough to put you in the gulag. But he's got a good heart in him, so despite seeing all this chaos and blood and torture and all this going on, he still tries to feed this one prisoner. That gets him even in more trouble. But there is a certain uprising that happens in the 1950s where the gulag is overtaken by the Slevs, I believe it was the name. And during the chaos, Roman escapes with some of his friends. But now that they're outside of the gulag, now they have an entire tundra to try to make its way through, or make way through before they can be considered free men, I guess you'd say. But along the way, fairy tale stories about the Domovic, which is some type of fairy tale superstition that was told by grandmothers to their grandchildren, are somehow interacting with Roman and his friends across this tundra plain. This is a mini-series. It's only going to be 5 issues, but it takes a little bit of history and mixes a little bit of fantasy with it. Anytime they do something like that, I'm always a big fan of. Plus the art, I've never really heard of Alex Cormack, but the art is very gritty and dark, very suitable for this book. And for it only being a miniseries, I'm very interested in it. Want to check it out, guys. So check it out. Shane and Paul Bookman's Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls, #1, written by Kevin Eastman, art done by David Avalor. This is a story that was done in a graphic novel called Drawing Blood. Done back in the 90s. It's kind of obviously an homage or a spoof or whatever you want to call it of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it gained a lot of popularity back in the 90s, and so I'm assuming they're trying to revitalize the series now. It is very much so the Ninja Turtles with cats. Now that sounds like it's pretty self-explanatory, but there is a little bit of extra layer to the whole thing. It revolves around 3 characters, Miyazaki, Tezuka, and Otomo. And just 3 cats bombarded by radiation and so on and so forth that eventually become sentient and anthropomorphic and even learn a little bit of samurai culture and whatnot. Going through trying to protect the streets. I'm not really sure where the city is, but they're still just trying to protect the streets. Like I said, much like Ninja Turtles, but it's with kitty cats. And also got like 4 different covers in right now. One done by Stan Sakai, but this is the cover A. It's the homage to the old school Ninja Turtles #1. They actually have one that's in the same vein, but it's like a variant somewhere. But anyways, if you're just into the nice, fun, crazy stories, I highly recommend picking this up. But if you are just looking for a deeper story, this very well may lead us into something a little bit more. Right now, this is the only thing they're putting out for it, but enough popularity around this, we might see some more coming out from it, guys. So I, as always, recommend. Check it out. From Marvel Comics, War of the Realms, Strike Force, The Land of the Giants, #1, written by Tom Taylor, art done by Jorge Molina. I believe this is just a one-shot, just much like the last one with Captain Marvel and everything. This is the assault on Jotunheim to try to save Thor from this barrage of attacks that he's been getting from the ice giants. It's a Captain America lead team with Luke Cage, Wolverine, Danny Rand, Iron Fist, and Spider-Man. They also get a little extra help getting to Jotunheim through the Valkyries' horses. And also it's pretty cool because everybody gets a nice little magical weapon. Cap gets Thor's old axe, Jarnbjorn. Luke Cage gets a giant killing hammer. Iron Fist gets a frost giant's a sword that was known for killing frost giants, and Spider-Man gets a helmet and a shield. But the helmet comes in handy a little bit later on, and there's a really good sequence where Spider-Man is with a horse. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys read it because it's really, really funny. It made me crack up. But I do believe this is just a one-shot, but this is the expedition they are taking to try to save Thor from the ice giants. So possibly after this, we're gonna have Thor back on Midgard, helping fight against the war, fight against Malekith's forces, and so on and so forth. But you definitely don't want to miss this one if you're a big fan of the what's going on, I guess you could say, in War of the Realms, especially if you're looking to see more Thor, because he's in this one, guys. But like I said, I do believe it's just a one-shot, so no big deal, I guess, if you happen to miss this one, because I think it's just really kind of just really explaining what the Captain America's team's doing and everything, guys. But really good read, and Jorge Molina, wonderful art, guys. Check it out. From DC Comics, Batman, The Animated Adventures, Mad Love, written by Paul Dini, art done by Bruce Timm. For all of you Harley fans out there always wondering about what her actual origin story is, this is the quintessential story that you need to be reading. I'm sure they've tweaked it a little bit in the New 52 and so on and so forth, but if you're the fan of the classic Harley, the Harley from the animated show, this is what you want. This follows the origin story of her. Also, it kind of incorporates her trying to take down Batman at one point in time without the Joker's knowledge. Doesn't really make him very happy about it. This story is told, like I said, in the vein of the animated series, the comic book series that was done by for the animated series stuff. But like I said, if you are even slightly interested in Harley Quinn, this is definitely the book to pick up. Plus anything written by Paul Dini, who did a lot of the storyboarding for the, a lot of the stories, I should say, for the animated series. He wrote this story, he created Harley Quinn, and Bruce Timm did all the art. So it's kind of a big deal if you are, even if you're not a Harley Quinn fan, just a Batman story. It's a great Batman story, guys. So definitely come by and check it out. That's all my picks for this week, everyone. Keep reading your comics, true believers. See you guys next week.